Hello and welcome. This is Bobby Childers with HarringtonLakeKY.com, and welcome back to part two of our interview with Miss Lynn Tyler. And this is for our Histories on Herrington Gwinn Island project. Let's jump right in. When last we left Lynn, she was talking about her mother, Rose, and their time on the island and working for the Coopers when she was just a young girl.
What? So you talked a little bit about the dock. Did you ever do any fishing?
I was not a fisherman.
Okay,
I did, but it was not my favorite pastime.
gotcha.
Now, my mom absolutely loved to fish. I've known her sit on that dock multiple all night longs.
Really?
Yeah, oh, she loved to fish. I've got a picture of her somewhere where she caught a big, I'm going to say crappie. I'm not sure what it was, but
That's
they
that's amazing.
oftentimes when big fish were caught, they put them on a stringer, and then people in the office area would take pictures of them.
Yes.
And I know I have a picture of her, and I believe my aunt holding up a string of large fish.
That's
But now,
amazing.
yeah, my mom loved it, and there was, I told you that Mr. and Miss Wiley, Lucille's parents, lived next door to us.
Uh-huh.
And there was a path on the far side of their house that took you down to the lake. And I remember, many times going down there with Mom and sitting on the rocks on the side of the lake while she fished, and getting fussed at for throwing a rock in the lake because it was going to scare the fish away.
That reminds me of a question. So it sounds like your mom loved to fish. She loved to sit on the dock. Do you remember? Was there a special place that your mom like? It sounds like she liked to fish just to decompress, and when she wasn't working. But was there a special place on the island that she used to take you that was just kind of like your guys' place, or was there a place that was like your place? That maybe was kind of away from everything.
No, not the closest thing would be what I just mentioned. And that was not on the island. That was on the other side of the island.
Gotcha.
But no, in fact, I don't remember her fishing off of the island.
Oh, you just remember her fishing, yeah, like when you guys
Off the dock.
off the dock. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, as far as the island goes, there was a little playground back there that had a slide and some swings and a seesaw and a couple of rings to hang from.
Yeah.
And when we clean cabins, we periodically take a little rest and go there and play a little bit.
That's wonderful. And that was on the back side of the island?
Well, see, the back side of the island at the time I was growing up was, I don't know what it is now, but it was not developed.
Okay.
Only so far in.
Gotcha.
So, no, this was not the back side of the island. I'm going to say it was the middle, although I'm not sure how much undeveloped property there was. Now, my brother could tell you that.
That's okay. It was one of those just popped up in my mind.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, Lynn, you've given us so much really great. This has been such a great conversation. I really appreciate it so much. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Like you've spoken I feel like you've given us a nice round view of kind of your memories of Gwinn Island. Is there anything, final that you would like to share about it? That, anything else that you can think of that you'd like to talk about?
Well, just a couple of minor things.
Please.
I mentioned in a response to a lady on the Facebook page, but I remember so distinctly this couple that used to come down from Cincinnati every summer, and for some reason they and my parents became very close friends. So when they were down, we spent a lot of time in the cabin that they had rented, and they would play cards, and then they always had a cabin that was close to a boat dock, just a little platform, and spent a lot of time when they were around in their boat, just traveling there around the Gwinn Island area. them trying to teach me to ski, and I never could ski. And then, the other thing I was going to mention is remembering, at the top of the hill, so to speak, there was, I think, currently there's one of those big storage building type things that a boat repair shop was in or something. But before you get to it, there was an area. Basically, it was a parking lot, I guess, but it was mostly grass, but it had lanes, a lane through it, and I remember so well learning to ride my bicycle right there.
Oh, really? That's a great one. That's really great.
Yeah. And my spending time, although not a lot of time, in the Cooper's home.
Yeah.
And it was always so. I felt like it was so formal, especially upstairs. Now they had built Kathy a playroom as sorts downstairs, and I would go down there every now and then with her. But Kathy and I were extremely close growing up, even though I went to a county school and she went to a city school until high school. And then we spent 4 years of high school together.
Wow.
We weren't, honestly, not really as close in high school because she was part of the crowd that was, the homecoming queen and cheerleader and all that, and I was not.
I understand.
But
there are a lot of people, but there are a lot. There are a lot of people that do remember very highly of that family, and it's, and they've spoken of Kathleen, so it's great to meet you and know that you had that connection as well.
Yeah, I did think very highly of all of them, and Mom kept in touch with. Now my mom died 8 years ago, and I don't know. She kept in touch with Lucille periodically, even though, I think Lucille maybe lived to be in her 90s.
Wow.
And Mom and I actually ran into Lucille in a store, and that was the first and only time that I had seen her in many decades.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, there is somebody, I think Kathleen is, I feel like there is somebody putting somebody else in the group in touch with Kathleen. Interesting. I was going to ask you, do you remember the name of the family that you had said that came down from Cincinnati and you spent so much time with?
It was Al and Mary Lou Sellers.
Very good. Well, hey, maybe somebody's listening that will.
I went to anymore with the internet and all. I remember going to a bowling tournament many years ago, and it was in Cincinnati. And I looked in the phone book to see if I could find their names, and did not find anything. But then within recent years, I went to probably findagrave.com. And actually found where both of them had passed away.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but it's nice that you were able to do that. Actually, that must have been.
I had thought of them so often over the years, and wondered if they were still living and if they were still in Cincinnati. And
sure.
I think I mentioned in one of my comments to that other lady that I have a cookbook that Mary Lou gave me and wrote in. It was in July of 1961.
That's wonderful. That is very special.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it means so much to me.
Well, Miss Lynn, I think just hearing stories like this will mean a lot to a lot of people who I think look back and have some memory of Gwinn Island. Obviously yours is in depth because you actually, it's different because you worked on the island and you were there for an extended period of time, and you were also quite young.
Yes.
So I think that's a very certain point of view. I think.
Well, it's all much more personal to me.
Sure, I think that's a nice way to put it.
Just visited the island.
Sure, I can totally understand that. Yeah, and there was a lot in there. Honestly, there was also, I think you have to understand the two that you guys were going through a pretty severe transition at that point in your life with the passing of your father, and I can only imagine what kind of impact that had on you as a young girl and as a family.
Well, it did, and as long ago as it's been, if I think about it too much, the memory is still very fresh.
I understand.
His passing anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
But even with that, as I mentioned a while ago, that has not diminished my wonderful, fond, loving feelings of Gwinn Island itself.
Well, Lynn, honestly, I couldn't even think of a better way to if if this ends up being a podcast, what you just said is like the perfect ending.
Oh.
I mean, because I think that everybody has these sort of overwhelming and positive feelings about Gwinn Island, and Lynn, I really appreciate you taking the time to share with me today, and it holds a big part in people's heart, and it's wonderful.
Well, as I've told people over here over the years, and more so lately since you've done the Herrington Lake page and the talk of Gwinn Island, I can't. I mean, there were multiple boat docks with room accommodations on Herrington Lake, even when I was growing up. But I don't ever remember being around anybody that said, "Oh, do you remember the time at Bryant's camp?"
Oh, okay. I see what you're
Or,
saying.
"Do you remember the time at Paradise Camp?"
Right.
But everybody seems to have, like you said, such fond memories of Gwinn Island.
It
and
is.
I don't know the difference.
Well, you know what, Lynn? I think we're going to have to. You know what? That is a great question. And I mean, I feel like I know the answer to that, but I feel like that would be kind of arrogant for me to say that I know the answer to that, because I think it's something like, let's come back to that question once we talk to more people and see if we can find out what that was, because I agree with you, there is a much larger emotional attachment to the memories of Gwinn Island, and part of me thinks that it has to do with the time frame in the United States at that time, like it's
Maybe.
in part, but I don't know. Again, I'm totally making it up. I think we should come back to that at some point, because I think that's a beautiful question.
It would be interesting. Oh, I've got to have one other thing. Not that
Please.
this has anything to do with memories, but it ties into when I told you Mom and I found the canceled checks.
Uh-huh.
We also found boxes of the Gwinn Island postcards.
Really?
And I bet you, I'm sure you've seen the one that's in color, that's just an overall, almost like an aerial view from an angle. I bet you right now I have 500 or more of that particular card.
Lynn, I can assure you that I don't believe I have seen that, and I would absolutely love it if you ever get out to the post office, if you would mail me one of those in an envelope.
Oh, well, it seems to be the most common, so I would be surprised if you haven't seen it.
But you know what? Even just all kidding aside, I would frame that, because I may have seen it, but to actually have one in your possession, I think is a rare thing. So I think you're very lucky to have those.
Well, I'll tell you two more things. I
Yes.
only have one of them, so I can't share them with you.
No, you go ahead.
I have a Gwinn Island brochure.
Oh, wow.
That is probably 11 by 17
Wow.
total, and there are pictures on one side of it, and in one of the pictures it's the inside of the restaurant, and Lucille Cooper is behind the counter. And do you know Gaten Gideon?
No, I've never heard the names.
Okay, he was a lifeguard back there for a long time, but anyway, not as important since you don't know him, but I believe it's him sitting at the counter. And then another picture is at the office area of the dock, and Wacky Cooper and my dad are the two people in that picture. And there are multiple pictures of, as I said a while ago, when people caught big fish, they took pictures, and there are multiple pictures of those type
That's
pictures.
wonderful. That's amazing. If you ever get a chance to make a picture of that, or with your camera phone or anything like that, I know there would be people who would love to see that. Those pictures, especially of the inside, that I'm sure that's really special. So yeah, you definitely need to hold on to that.
Yeah, and since it's the only one I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, a close attachment since at least my father is in there, and if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to look at it again, but I think behind the counter with Lucille is my grandmother.
You need to get that framed. You need to have
I
that
really
framed
do.
if you ever have the
I've got
opportunity.
it in a photo album, but it's one of those brochures that if it's 11 by 17, it folds in half and then folds in thirds.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've just left it in its folded condition and put it in a photo album.
That's wonderful. Well, that is a very special treasure. Absolutely, that is a special treasure.
Well, I keep extending the conversation.
No, and you're fine. I just want you to know how valued, how valuable I think it's been, and it has been really great to share these memories with you.
Well, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about my childhood and my memories.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for one other thing to see if I have it on my iPad.
Sure.
One other piece of memorabilia that I have is a menu from the restaurant.
Really? If you see it, do you mind reading off a couple of items?
Okay, yeah, I've just found it. Okay, under breakfast, you get ham and eggs, toast, and coffee, 60 cents. Coffee was a nickel. Milk was 7 cents. Cereal with milk was 15 cents. With cream, it was 20.
Wow.
Homemade pies, 15 cents. You could get a T-bone steak served with French fries, salad, coffee, or milk for $1.50.
Wow.
I know.
My dad will be pretty annoyed by that. Like, you go to the marinas these days. That's pricey.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I think I found this in some of my mom's.
That's pretty sweet. Well, that's another one of those things you should frame.
It is. I need to. I'm not sure where it is. Probably with my mom's stuff. I bought a little trunk for her memorabilia. She didn't get rid of a whole lot.
Yeah, I understand that.
I was looking at this other. Oh, pimento cheese sandwich, 20 cents.
Wow. Yes.
I know. Hamburger, 20 cents.
There's got to be a fried.
Wow.
There's got to be a fried bologna on there somewhere.
Let's see. I thought I saw. Well.
I'm shocked.
No, I don't see. Under sandwiches, there's tuna, ham, cheeseburger, bacon and tomato, pimento, grilled cheese, country sausage, hamburger, ham salad, fried egg, a cream cheese sandwich.
Wow.
Hot dog, peanut butter sandwich for $0.10. And if you added lettuce and tomato to any of those, it was a nickel extra.
Wow. That's impressive. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's again very important to me. But
yes.
I just realized this. Mom, like it's just a double fold paper. The menu is. And I just realized at the top of the very back page, my mom has written autographs - 1940. I can't tell if it's 47 or it looks like 49. And one of the autographs is Lucille Cooper.
Wow.
I don't know if there's anybody else there I recognize, but I didn't realize those autographs were there until just now.
That's pretty amazing. Well, Miss Lynn, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you so much. If there's anything else I could ever do for you, please let me know.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. If something else comes to mind, I'll give you a call.
I would love it. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
Bobby, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much. That concludes our first interview on the Histories on Herrington project, focusing on Gwinn Island. Please subscribe to updates on our website so we can keep you informed. We will certainly be continuing on. Please visit us at harringtonlakeky.com. Thank you and have a great one.